Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And I want to introduce my new podcast, The Power of People Show. Been working on this for a while, so I hope you enjoy it. The great interviews for everyday successful people just like you and me, giving it back to the keys to success so you can take whatever you need from it, enjoy it. Hope you enjoy these interviews. They're pretty great. What up, people? And welcome back to the Power of People Show. This is your boy, Sugar Ray. Got a special guest with you for today. My main man, back from East Texas, Tyler, Texas. Now he's from Tyler, Texas. He's not in Tyler, Texas no more. He all over the world. I want a special guy to me, someone that I really envy. Not envy, but I really like him. He's my guy. And we've been friends for a long time. He's really a good entrepreneur, businessman. Gives a lot of wisdom and shares with a lot of different people. Oh, what I'm going to do is going to bring him to the mic. Let me introduce my guy, Richard Davis. Welcome to the show, Rich.
Thanks. Pleasure to be on, as always.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute,
It has been.
we started the podcast, we had started this back about like 4 or 5 years ago when we did the magazine, so we bringing it back with the podcast to add to the magazine. And couldn't think of no one else that I could think of. Well, no, I thought of many people, but I could think of nobody else better to bring back for the podcast. Let me say it like that.
There you go.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. My bad, man. My bad. But yeah. So man, what have you been up to lately, Rich? Just introduce yourself to the people for me.
Thank you first of all for having me on here. You and I, go back, way back. So it's always awesome to see progress with everyone. For me, life is always just, it's lifing. You work, you do great things, you inspire others, you conquer the world, man. I think it's always a mindset. Most people that are like entrepreneurs, you do bigger and greater things, right? You out topple yourself, and you change. You try to change history in a way of, and the making of doing things. So that's
Okay.
kind of where I've been, man. I've been back on Wall Street, back in the saddle, just going back on the grind, man, with some new things. So yeah,
Man, you're a busy man. Hard to catch up with you, man. It's a busy man. Always on the road. But
yeah,
that's a good thing, man.
it's a bad
Yeah.
thing too.
Oh, man. It's better than just being still, man. And,
That's
but
absolutely right.
and you get to move on your own work, as you choose. So, move around. So, man, other people, what you do for a living. Introduce yourself, what you do for a living, where you're from, where you grew up at, man. Where you grew up at, what your childhood was like, man. How you get out,
Yeah,
where you get started. Tell us about how you get started.
you make me go all the way back to
Yeah.
my mentor right
And,
now. It's
let them, yeah, let
and
them,
that's just,
you got to paint the picture for them so they can
as
get a
as you
visual.
get as you get older, some of those things that retrospective, where you come from and the things you've done, right?
Yeah.
Are still in alignment. They always come back to around. So, I grew up in East Texas, Tyler.
Rose Capital, baby.
Yeah, Rose Capital, and I grew up. My father was a postal worker. My mom, she worked at Lou's restaurant, right? And so, yeah, then grew up in a rich family, man. So that was something that out of respect. My grandfather was wealthy. I mean, I think my dad's uncle was very wealthy. We weren't left. Can I
Yeah.
curse?
What?
We weren't left shit. So, that's just something, that as you see older in life, how privileged some people are. Right? Like I went to a restaurant yesterday, a fine restaurant, I saw kids out there, and this area called Valentine, and uppity area, but they're paying with their own credit cards, man. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, we couldn't even get
It's,
$2 back in the day, you know what I mean?
oh, boy. I remember them
For
days.
Yeah, so to get a snow cone. So so those things are always remarkable, man, and seeing how things have changed now. But growing out of East Texas, that's how my parents were, and played baseball, played sports, tennis, whole
Yeah,
nine
man.
yards, and just kind of seeing things from a whole different lens as I got older. And decided to swing at the bat a different way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the good old days,
Yeah,
remember, growing up in Little League and yeah, man, you always been your own man. I mean, I could you used to do your own thing in Little League, and then, no, as you got to high school, so you started doing tennis. I mean, I was far out. I couldn't even imagine that, like,
yeah,
that
yeah. It's a
you
whole
know,
transition.
I mean
But I was one of the best tennis players around because you know why? I had accuracy. Well, I sucked at baseball.
yeah. Yeah, you had that little what that
I sucked
pitch
at
you could pitch a
baseball.
little bit. I mean, it wasn't no fastball.
I could no. Yeah, yeah.
You
It's
remember
slow ball and
yeah. It remind me of, how they used to tell the story about the, Oakland A's owner and the kid that grew up his grandkid grew up with on the stats and all of those, Hey, I gotta give you that. You was a stat guy. You were always with the numbers, and you knew the players and knew what they could do and what, the game, so, as a kid.
same thing works for me now in Wall Street, like I never have been like a numbers guy, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy is that like I sucked in math. I sucked in like I pretty much failed, for the test, to get
Yeah.
like that last stage of like algebra. Sometimes I just could never get it, right?
Yeah.
And look at all these people are in trigonometry and stuff like that, trigonometry or whatever it is. Nowadays, it's like I work in Wall Street, but like I'm so quick with it now, right? Because of how I grew up.
What
I
made
grew
that
up.
yeah.
It's just transition, right? You kind of like take what you know and where you come from to like where you need to go at, right? So I took an opportunity on Wall Street. It wasn't given to me. I actually took it. Like
Yeah.
fortunately, like said, I'm gonna do this and like actually made it happen, right? So it's kind of like calling out your dreams type thing.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's okay to say that, I do that now, like I'm an advisor for like a lot of NASDAQ companies, New York Stock Exchange companies, CEOs. As you see, I'm actually watching an interview
Yeah.
right now with my own production company and like people have this
Okay.
this is like what I do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But
full stuff.
I'm also an advisor, right, to these CEOs that don't know what to do. And so because I went public in 2018 and, was bought out and stuff like that, it wasn't nothing of big significance. Made a little bit of money off of it. It was nothing like, you know, crazy wall,
Yeah.
you know, thing, but it was enough to keep stability, right?
Yeah. So, alright, I hear you. So, if you could describe yourself now,
Mhm.
what would be 3 adjectives that you would describe Richard?
The adjective. I mean, as far as like who I am now versus are you saying like where I was before?
Yeah. How would
Like
you describe it?
how
Yeah,
ages?
how would you describe yourself?
More
3, give
wise,
me, like
more wise,
okay,
more patient,
okay,
and more giving.
more giving. Alright. When you say what you mean by those 3? Give me a little insight on all 3 of 'em. Yeah, the
Think about
more wiser, yeah.
like I work on Wall Street, so like I see a lot of these NASDAQ CEOs that come on board and like they're they try to I guess kind of like think they know everything and like you're kind of like a seasoned veteran,
Yeah,
and so you basically run the ship behind the scenes in a sense towards like, hey, you should do this. These are particular felons. You need to make sure these people are in place to do these particular things. So you're more wise, right? More
yeah,
patient is allowing that attitude, those personalities, those talkers, the ones that think they know everything, and then they
yeah,
go somewhere else to business on Wall Street, and then they have to come right back because they realize, like, hey, you're that guy, right?
yeah,
And so that's like the patient. I'll let you like talk crazy and all these other things, but at the end of the day, when you try to make phone calls, they're gonna go, "Well, you pissed him off, so where you gonna go?" And like,
Oh, you're gonna
it's
go
like
to
the
them.
wise. It's like, "Come on back, baby." You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah,
all right, we're here, and like when we're here, right? And so it becomes a one come and go. The wisdom's there, the patience there, and the giving is to understand like what their purpose is, and if it's tailored into giving back to the world or helping the world. Like the CEO I have right back in the background right now, like he's actually doing, straight brain cancer and actually has a treatment for it. Right?
nice.
Yeah. So, those things and watching. him and how he moves towards the markets and how he moves towards, you know, helping the world. That's what makes you rich. So if you can do those things and understand those three parables of like life and in business, you'll do very successful. And sometimes you have the ups and downs, but the thing is, if you stick to what you know as knowledge, then it never fails.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, patience. I'm pretty sure you got to be a lot of patient in that line of business,
It's
man. Especially when people come back full circle, like you were
yeah.
just explaining. You got to have a
And
lot of patience, huh?
yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, you let people be people, right?
Yeah,
So a person's mindset is set on who they're going to be until sometimes they realize, like, you're way more important of value to them. And that's when people actually have to take time to understand who you are.
gotcha. Yeah, man. Look, man, you growing with that. I see it. That's showing that growth thing, big guy.
Yeah,
I like that
always.
though. That's showing that
Yeah.
growth thing. So what has been some? So start. How did? Let's get back. Let's go back a little bit.
Yep.
Growing up in East Texas,
Hmm.
coming up, going to high school, being one of the top, top kids coming out of your class at just at John Tyler, the famous John Tyler, back in East Texas. Then going off to college,
Hmm.
how did you decide what school you wanted to go to, and how was that decision? Tell me about that.
From the University of North Carolina, because my family was there, and I could get free meals from my aunt
Boy,
every Sunday, right? So that was always a thing, right? So I'm like, okay, if I choose anywhere, my dad, obviously he was a great father, but like I wanted to go to university in Honolulu in Hawaii because I wanted a
man,
vacation for the next fucking 10 years, right? And
dude,
thinking that,
it's crazy that you said that because it
yeah,
was only like I didn't know how to go to college, but I remember getting two letters of information in the mail, or
right.
from UNO, and the other one was from University of Hawaii.
Yeah, yeah.
But go ahead. But I didn't know nothing about
Chaminade
Hawaii.
University. I'm thinking I'm going over there, marry a Filipino girl, and that's my life for the rest of my life, right? With no money, right?
You had a plan. My boy had a plan.
Yeah. Well, you think it is until you realize your dad's finances are not,
Yeah,
not there. And like, that's when you kind of like go, okay, you know what? I'll settle a little bit and like make the best out of it. And, I chose University of North Carolina. So that was pretty cool. Going there was always, it was fun, right? It taught me a lot about life, but like really, as far as from an economic standpoint, it didn't teach me anything.
talking about North Carolina. Oh, you
Learn
talking
that
to
stuff.
a blue blood didn't teach you about the economic
I
world?
work in Wall Street, bro. You learn that stuff in like Harvard and Yale because they're in positions for like Wall Street, the CEOs, and that's the crazy side of like life,
Yeah,
right? So you just kind of like I just kind of broke through the ranks of getting position on Wall Street and to kind of understand that my grandfather was like before he passed, not grandfather, but my uncle. He's very wealthy, like real estate.
I got you.
And once again, he didn't leave a shit. But the thing was, I understood it. Like, when I asked him before he passed away, like, what two ways would you think successful way to become wealthy or, keep a sustainable life? And
Yeah,
it doesn't apply to everyone, but the two things he said, either real estate or other like stocks, right? And I don't like to sell shit, so I can't sell real estate. I don't like to sit on anything for too long and sell it. So I figured
gotcha.
learn stocks and you know, do that and becoming at that point, going to Dallas and meeting two guys and, starting a website, that
Gotcha.
bought out the whole story, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, those two guys kind of just took off, huh?
Yeah,
Those guys now big time guys.
correct.
I don't know if you're interested in sharing who those guys were that got you in the right positioning, or
Well,
you kind of
one ended up going to prison. The other one ended up like going to prison as well because
you don't know that, man. You don't know that.
no, I know that. No,
Okay, go ahead.
they actually went to prison. The thing is, what they were doing was actually, and this is a good moral with that. This is patience, like understanding, your virtue with that.
Yeah,
They end up getting blessings, doing things the right way. They end up like I wake up, I went from like starting what I did, to making $100 extra a week, right?
Yeah.
like
Gotcha.
driving trucks and stuff to a point where I got tired of driving it because I was scared to quit. And those checks for $1,500 turned into like 5,000, and they were like, "We'll pay you 15,000 a week." I'm like, I quit truck driving.
Yeah, like, nah, I'm good.
But yeah, but I studied everything, right? And I also studied kind of like studied them too, and like over years, everything they were doing right until they were caught up with some people from the Beatles doing things in manipulative ways on Wall Street to the long story short, taking that money and like going dividend dabbing other things and like I'm like, yeah, that's not how I grew up. So
Yeah.
yeah, but you learn from that. I mean, it's work with a lot of CEOs now that at these days you become older and more wiser than them sometimes. It's like, oh well, initial color thing is like I'm black, but hey, I got what you need.
Yeah. So, okay, so you watched The Pivot, right? Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen The Pivot with Ryan Clark and, I can't think of it, Fred Taylor and, Shannon I can't think of the other guy name, but he always has a point. So, I guess you could say that would have been a point of your pivot where you decided, "Hey, this is I could pivot right here," or that pivot in your life that made you go into a different direction and started you on to where you are.
Oh, whatever. Like
What would you
people
say
give
that
up
pivot?
the pivot. Well, I mean, like I said, I can go back on a long story, right?
Where you had to make a yeah,
There was a lot of points of pivot, right? For
you didn't
those particular, yeah, I'm there. Those particular points were at times in my life where I had to kind of like question God, right? If it
mhm,
was okay to actually like pivot. And sometimes like God will give you answers and give you scenarios and situations where you did have to pivot. And I'm not being religious about that. It just happened in my life. There was an incident where I was driving trucks and doing stocks at one point in time, like, and the companies I was with were paying me. When that happened, the scenario happened, I quit that day. God gave me a blessing of like $50,000, one deal on Wall Street. Took us sold for a company, and do what I did. My site had got bigger and like we started advertising and stuff like that. So that was my pivotal moment of like understanding like what I'm
yeah,
supposed to do. Yeah. Sometimes you kind of let on the edge of certain things and yeah,
yeah.
it is. Yeah.
So when you say your pivotal moment and made you realize, like, this is the direction that I can go in, or,
Well, it
give me
became a lot of pivotal moments
you
too,
left a lot
right?
of meat on the
So
bone.
here's a here's
You
a
left a
here's a
lot of
here's a
meat on the bone, right?
here's a crazy
Yeah,
story, right? So sometimes like you're driven through life, and if you don't understand like your purpose of it, like so I had worked at Cracker Barrel, right? By
yeah.
the way, they just changed their logo and stuff, right? And it's crazy, right?
Did they? I gotta keep
Yeah,
up
they
with that.
did. They did. So I worked there for one point in time, and like I got to a point of like I was back in the back, like doing milkshakes and doing like prep work, and I was doing like the whole,
I can't believe you worked at
making baked
Cracker
potatoes and everything else, right?
yeah. I can't believe you worked at Cracker Barrel.
I couldn't believe it either, but I was broke, bro. So I got to a point, right? And you know how baseball was. Like my dad was like hard on us, so like you hearing all this stuff in your ear, it's just all resonate with you. And I got to a point I was in back of it, and the guy was the manager. I never forget this point. And he says, I have this little brown apron on. I think I got like 1 star or something because they rated by stars how much you got paid. So you have 4 stars. He was like the general, right? Whatever the case was, a Cracker Barrel. So the thing was, he got to a point. He kept asking that for this. Yeah, I need this. I need milkshakes. I need 3 of them. I need this. And I'm doing this, and I'm back like moving as quick as I can. And I started looking at the people around me. Right. I'm looking at Carol back there. She was like 75 years old. I'm like going, I don't want to be here like that. Right. I'm looking at this guy over here, like he's high. I'm going, he's over here making like freaking chicken strips, and I'm going, dang, he's like in his late 20s, but like outside smoking pot every day on the lunch breaks. I'm like, I don't want to be like him, right? So there was never, and even the manager, like a douchebag. And I'm like going, I don't want to be around him like that. And you're barking at me with orders, right? So it got to a point. I'm like going at this point, right? I mean, I'm like in the tunnel vision. Like this can't be your life for the next 20 years. Look at Carl, look at this guy. Like you have no role models around, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting all these screams, and he goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing? I need these." And I take the little thing off, the little rope thing off, and I said, "Yeah, I think I'm down with this." He goes, "You leave, you bet, you walk out, you better not come back here again. You're no longer welcome," right? And I gave it to him, and I walked the fuck out. And guess what happened? 3 years later, I go back to Cracker Barrel in a yellow Lamborghini, right? And I park it outside, go inside, and say, "You know what? I think I'm gonna sit down myself and actually like eat here." And I go outside, I go inside, and the manager goes outside. He's just on break, and he's by my car
Yeah.
taking pictures, right?
What?
The
Is
one that
that the
fired
same
me,
guy
right?
you at work with?
Same guy that fired me, the same manager, right?
Dang.
And
Dog.
so I'm inside eating, and like everyone is like coming over because people have seen me get out of the car, like the workers and stuff, somewhere on break, and they knew like that was still me, and they're still there. Your curls, your guys, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm sitting down eating, and he comes over, he looks at me, he goes, "Is that your car?" I go, and he's like, "What do you do now?" And I looked at him, I go, "I don't work for Cracker Barrel anymore. I can tell you that much." All right.
That's funny.
And then you come like that's like come back around, right? Like that's the thing. So I gave him like this thing of like life gestures at that point, even at the age, right? Because life is not obviously it wasn't bad at all, and it's not bad now. So,
No, man, that's a good that's a good story though, man. I like it.
yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
story. Yeah, man, I can only imagine, man, when you pull up and it's like, man, like I get a ride?
yeah.
Like, nah, man. You're like, nah, you remember that time you fired me? You had me washing mopping the floors back there?
Dude, I've been truck driving and on the CB, and they tell me what does a black man do with stocks, right? Because they knew like I
No?
was doing this. Oh yeah, that happened. And it's just one of those things like you still come back around and like figure things out. And you do right good by people. You don't believe in like, that other side of like you can't do anything other than you become a shining shining example. That's basically
So what made you decide to become a stock to get into stock and to get into the professional lane when
stocks.
it's dominated by a lot of more richer or, or, I guess
And stocks are
more privileged younger people get into it that come from a more of a esteemed background, family wise and stuff, educational wise. What made you
I know
decide you was ready? That was the land for you.
sometimes it's still question is the lane, right? You know when it is, but you also question like the things that Wall Street does, right? So
Yeah.
for me at that time, I worked in kind of like more of like media relations, and I still do it now, and like more so in advisor relations now. Years of experience, but you kind of see like how everything is really done. It's like it's two and through. It's not an easy area to get into, but if you get into it, you better be prepared to understand like what goes on behind everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What would you say the biggest risk you done took? What's the biggest risk you done took and it hurt? I mean, it's a risky
I,
business.
I'm a I'm a risk taker, right? And that's I manage
Nothing
like my
wrong
own
with
stuff.
that. That's a good thing.
I done rolled the dice so many times on things. There always some things have just worked, some things haven't, right? Like you if you were saying from like a day trade or something, or like
Yeah.
investment vehicles for a business, like I've
So
rolled the dice.
so when you were younger, you recall like any one of those like in that game when you got into the stock
Correct.
game, like
Yep.
one of the risks you took and you was just like, man, that was bad. I should have done that. Or you
There's
learning
been
from a
that's
learning opportunity that you took.
I mean, initially, there's a lot of like trading side, you know, it's like I've taken big gambles, right? So I remember one trade I put up about 200,000, right? But they gave me about $600,000 in margin, right? And margin is basically like a lot of credit, like you can use for trading. And I racked up about $1,000 in a matter of like a minute and a half.
Alright.
2 minutes, maybe. Could have been closer to 3, I don't know, right? But if I would've waited, it would've been over like $1.5 million, like, the next, like, 5 minutes, right? Brokers pounding on me, like, throwing the dice and said, "F it," right? I call them up, and it's like I couldn't do it by laptop or anything like that at the time, so I called them up, and said, "Buy X number of shares right now, right now, right now," right? stock's moving, just kept climbing 100%, 100%, just kept going, right? And he's like on the phone, he's like, "You want to sell? You want to sell? You want to sell right now, Rich?" And he's from New York. You want to sell right now? You're up, you're up, you're up. Take it right now. Take it or leave it. Boom, not a bad day. His name was Joey. I never forget. He was a broker from out of Staten Island. And so I took it and I made the amount of money. And then I watched it, and he's like, "You're good, good. You can take the whole week off. You can finish your month off, this and that." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the side of me, the impulsive side, was like,
How
I
you
wanted to wait 5 minutes. I felt like I knew it, and I would have made about $1.5 million, right? In an extra 5 minutes. And he's calling me, and I call, and we're on the phone. I said, "Yeah, if I would have waited 5 more minutes, right?" He goes, "Yeah, but you did well. You did well. Take your game and go."
yeah, he was happy then. Sounds like he
Now
was
he got his money
yeah, he was happy for
as a
the days.
broker, and I got my money. So, sometimes like, taking risks is kind of when you're gonna how much you're gonna put up against their wage, exactly what your parameters are and how comfortable your level is, right? So, I mean, business wise, sometimes, I mean, it is the same way. I got projects now that like sometimes I may put up a $500,000, and I'm a high risk taker. I can afford a little bit of loss. When you really confident enough, then one of the things is that taking high risks. It's always one of those things where the reward is always sweet. The timing and the execution may not be adapted to the timing, but eventually you stay the course, then you'll get to where you're gonna get at, right? So, and that's just lining things to happen, and sticking the same course. It always works out that way.
Okay. Yeah. So what was one of your first steps, like, to get into the game? Like, when you was trying to get in and, it's one of those things when sometimes you don't know where to start. So if it was say if you was telling somebody to start and they wanted to get into it, how would you tell them to start? Or would you tell them to start? And when it comes
Is
to
the
in that line of business. I guess I would, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, is to kind of study it first, right? First of all, studying, like, I'm always like, I'm a teacher, but like, I'm still a student at all, times. I play dumb sometimes, right? Because having smart people around you is always a good thing. Having too many smart people around you can be a dumb thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So, y- you know, I would always say a person to kind of like do the research and study on things first to see if it aligns with like the purpose and the things that they're driven to do. If it doesn't wake you out of sleep, you don't need to do it, right? Doesn't give you a passion that you're not going to be passionate for, so it's not going to really gonna work out. If your everyday mission is on this thing and you're doing the best you can, then I understand like that that's where you can figure things out along the way by having smart people in place too.
Right. Okay. So yeah, learn more about the business. They need to learn more about it, get something they can start feeling passionate.
And get experience in it. Start ground level. You can't go into something saying that you know everything because that's just not how it works.
Hey, that some people jump right in there thinking they're doing it fail, right? Just hit their
Yeah, they
head
always
and
yeah.
but then some people hit their head and they bounce back. So it's just one of those
And
things.
that's just like a lot of the CEOs too. I mean, same way. They get IPO date and they just think they're big headed, and they go out and buy $100,000 watches and want to show off their cars and their homes and everything else. It's like, come on, you're real.
Hey, it said it ain't tricking if you got it.
Yeah, well,
But
trick when you
hey,
lose it.
it exactly what it is.
Yep.
What it is. So Rich, what has been one of your most amazing moments you experienced as a professional? Like and
Is
all the
is is
well, all the so some all the things you have done, you experience, you know what I'm saying? All the
that other
work you have
side
done, all the career what's one of those moments I know one of the moments that you called me, when you were just chilling, having a good time, and you like, "Hey, man, I called you," and you're like, "Oh, man, I'm busy right now. I'm in the car lane with Birdman and all of them
yeah,
going
yeah.
to Wayne." I'm like, "Hold on, man, I'm calling you on a random
That's,
day to say what's up, and you
yeah.
telling me you in the car lane." But
My life
in
is
your
my life is
professional life, what
my life my
what's one
life
of
is
those
very
moments?
interesting, right? Like so
Yeah.
like last week I was down in South Beach and I met with Floyd Mayweather. He got off his yacht. I met with him for like maybe like I don't know, was sitting there eating dinner or whatever the case was, lunch, and he filling up his yacht, kiki on the river, and like those are just moments, right? They don't really excite me much like those things anymore. I think the joys of like exciting me now that's like those moments are seeing how much you can impact others, right? That's like the greatest joy is how you can impact others or help others or try to take a little bit of what you know because you don't need to take any secrets to the grave because those are, not something that's going to help anybody else and not help society. So the ability to kind of teach knowledge or watch certain things, help people or be a beacon of light to somebody else who's trying to do something, and a word of encouragement to them is always the greatest gift.
Nice, bro. Nice.
Yeah,
So, what has been your biggest accomplishment so far? Would you consider being a
motherhood.
father? Man,
Even at
what?
43, like I love it. Like when you're young, you just think, oh, my father. When you're older, it's like they keep you going, dude. Like I have two boys, so
Yeah,
one's yeah, 16 and
yeah. Tell me
gonna
about
be
'em.
turning 4.
Yeah,
Brainiacs, smart kids.
they get it from their mom, or I mean, just say,
Quarter with this one.
hey, it's a setup, huh? I mean, she kinda puts some in it. I mean, she helps. She
I
help along the
respect.
way. They help.
I res I
Yeah,
respect.
you gonna no, man. How much of that brilliance that you take credit for? Go ahead.
The side of when they're around me,
I got you. I got you. I got you.
just to see their growth and see them like as smart as they are and they ask the questions and like they know everything. You let them do things on their own, then they can't do it then they just say, "Dad, can you help me?"
Yeah,
Right? It's like the student trying to become a teacher too quick.
yeah,
And so that becomes like, most especially like my little one. Oh my God, like he's so smart and intelligent.
yeah.
And
Man,
you know, you look at them from a whole different lens, right? You look at it from like where you were at, and like you can actually have that predictability skill. And like, yeah, you're gonna try to jump off the couch. Let me go ahead.
yeah. I definitely
Yeah,
understand that one.
yeah. And I got two flights of stairs. Let me go ahead and like, teach you how to like walk down the stairs properly because we don't need no injuries like that here in the house.
Let me teach you the proper way before you go ahead and try it
Correct.
on your own before you even
Yeah.
learn how to do.
Yes, yes, yes. You're not a teacher yet, It's just the comical side of like being a father. My little one's with me, last week, and he gets sick of me sometimes. I love him to death, but like, I can sit there and like he's in the back seat and I'm driving, he's in his zone, and so I'm, going across Virginia Beach area and like there's ships on the side, and I'm thinking that that's like something magical for him to see. And I'm like, look, man, look, there's ships on the side, and he's like looks down a little bit, like, "Why are you bothering me?" Then he looks at, like
Like, I'm busy right now. Like, I
yeah.
don't got time for this.
And so I said, "Scotty, look, Scotty, look, your ships." He goes, "Dad, no, I'm playing my video game." It's
Hey, man,
like,
I get that all the time, every day.
yes. It's just like,
It's
okay,
like
you have your own life. I get it.
it's one of those things that you like, time is going fast, but you realize at one moment you be like, "Hold on, they're young,
Yep.
but this time it's starting to speed up the
A lot quicker.
knowledge, the information that they're being
Correct.
feeded and the way that they're picking up." Bro, I'm in the same boat. I didn't see this coming. It's catching me off guard every day.
It is a matrix, right?
So, like yeah, so, like, I was, kinda it told you a little bit earlier, just putting my son Ray, his room together, and so once we finally, put the new bed in and the new desk in and the TV on the wall and just rearranged it, he goes, "This room finally looks like a big boy room." Yeah,
That's right.
I was like, "It didn't look like a room before." What? So he goes in and, sit in the beanbag and he goes, "Hey, can you close the door?
Yeah.
You step out and just close
Don't
the door
want
behind
no
you?"
they want all privacy around.
I was like, "What is this, man? What is that?" So, yeah, I get it, man, yeah, so you talk about little one, the other Rich,
Rich,
what
oh,
tell
man, it's a
what
great student,
man,
dude.
I
Like,
know, man, that guy
He's he
got
stayed he stayed
amazing.
with me all he stayed with me all summer, and so,
Yeah,
we usually do, like, this annual, like, father and son trip, right? So,
yeah.
I was thinking maybe he wanted to go somewhere, like, really far, but he didn't. He actually wanted to go to New York, and, yeah, I just took him to New York, we spent some time there, and, I'm gonna show you the hustle and bustle of New York. You're
Well,
not used to this little, like, you're from down south, son, you can't just walk aimlessly and, like, you're gonna see a bunch of weirdos and, like, I
man.
understand, like, you gotta get across the street or you will get hit, right?
Yeah,
So,
public traffic,
that
public
sense of
transportation and all.
awareness, right? So, but he saw so much in New York with the shop, and then I took him to Wall Street and did the whole 9 yards with him, took him to Yahoo Studios and said, "This is where dad works, and this is what dad does sometimes," it
How
was
you take
cool
that?
until he loved it, right? He got all his stuff for his whatever he wanted shopping wise, and, like, when he got to New York and, like, I'm trying to, like, he's not used to walking. I'm very athletic, so, like, I walk, I walk. I go to New York, I walk. It's like no taxi, I walk, right?
Man, I hate all of that walking.
I do
I
too.
can't. But you must got some real comfortable shoes though. But go ahead.
Yeah,
But
depending on
you're
what
used to it though. But go ahead.
they're used to it. So it's yeah, and we saw a guy get hit by a car, and he was like, "Dad, I think I'm ready to go outside." I'm like, "Yeah, this is New York for you, right?" And the cab driver hit like a delivery guy, like it was on a bicycle.
Wow.
Literally just and there was going up like 42nd Street and just like ran right into him and kept going,
Kept
right?
moving,
Kept moving.
bruh. You mean okay? I got you. Yeah,
And
that's
so my son saw that. I was like, "Oh, okay." And the guy like got up hobbling. I'm like, "Hey, let me call the police real quick. Sit down." He's like, "No, no, no." Right? He's like, and I'm like, "You just went literally underneath a car. Your leg looks broken." He's like, "No, no, I'm fine." I said, "Let me call the police." He just kept going. He's like, "No." And the reason he didn't want me to call him because them papers, right?
yeah. Right.
You go to the hospital and take a police report. I figured that's what it was. He got up and
Yeah.
hobbled on the bed, broke his foot all the way back on his bicycle. It was crushed and pushing all the way back. And I was like, well,
I can
yep,
understand, man. We live in some times, right? Sure, our country, and some it's kind of tough when you get in those bad situations. You don't know what to do either. Go get help or try to figure it out. It might cost you your life. Either or, right?
exactly.
So these temperatures, crazy times these days. So, but nah, man, I'm sorry to see that they experienced that, but I'm glad that y'all
Yeah,
had a good time though. And
yeah, yeah.
what have you tried to lead his direction to where he need to, in which direction he seek to go to when he go? Is somewhere safer.
So yeah, so he's more into tech, and like I'm just letting him be himself, right? And just only you only can be as a father supporting us what they're willing to do, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. How you feel about that? I mean, to tech. How you feel about seeing young people to tech these days and the technology now? Because man, I feel a way. Even Ray, he came into me. He only 5. He's gonna be 6 next
Mm,
month, right?
yep.
Like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, he'll be 6. He got tell me he want to be a professional tech or a gamer or being somewhere in the technology world. Like at 5 years old, I don't think I realized at 5 years old that I wanted to be in that space, and when it's like you got tablets, kids starting out with tablets, they watching TV all the time now on demand anywhere, phones, whatever. And they just swallow in so much information now. So with so much information they swallow, they just all they know is tech, right? Basics tech, or they can watch anything like these cartoons, and they just teach them how to use things or how to do those. Man, how you see it, and how you feel about it, where you see it going in the future.
I think kids have become they're a lot more advanced, right? Like obviously, then we can actually say they're probably more advanced than us, but really the advancement levels are probably pretty much the same, just without the technology, right?
Yeah,
We could operate a baseball bat, and they can operate an iPad. There's no significant difference. I can guarantee you, like, if I gave my son to operate a baseball bat,
yeah,
he knows how to swing it, but the aim is not there without practice, right? So the thing is, like, you just have to let them be who they are and what tools they have to get the job done. Now, I do take those things sometimes away from my boys to understand like the direction of like the commonality of family and the commonality of like the principles of just having, you know, a time to get out that matrix of technology so much, right?
Yeah,
Take them fishing, stuff like that, the skill set that they actually need because it's still very much so important.
gotcha.
Technology takes away from a lot of communication.
Man, a lot. Where you see it, in the stock world, where you see AI playing this part with the technology advancing, where you see AI playing in the stock world, say
AI,
in the future.
AI,
Because I mean, if it's gonna be
AI.
able to predict, I'm looking at it just from the outside, not no person in stock. And just from what I know, stock is taking risks, trying to predict curves or trends, right, of what's happening on in the world. It's you that's been in that game, and you're in this game, in this world. You think what significance do you think AI is gonna take a
I
part in?
mean, AI plays a lot, from even analysts, right? Like our country's ran, to me, even the stock market's run by AI, a lot of it.
Is it?
Come on, dude.
Man,
Like,
I
yeah,
don't
even
know.
even analysts right now these days, like, as smart as they are,
Would you need analysts in the future?
you probably won't. Predictability skill. I mean, you still need human, like, interaction with that. But I sat back and this was maybe, I don't know, maybe 8 months. I was on the floor of the exchange when Trump said that he putting tariffs on China and all that, and stock market like literally plummeted 700, 800 points, whatever the case was. It happened for, a few days. And then we got to a point like within that month where we were hitting territorial numbers of like back in 2008 recession numbers, like literally there. And like, it's like, okay, if we're on the floor of the exchange, you'll get a call that if we go down 500 basis points, we all got to get. And you know who has to come in? The feds, right? And they figure it out and they start writing checks. And this is the 2008 mortgage crisis,
Yeah, that was
Black
crazy.
Monday type thing, right? So
Man, that was crazy.
yeah, so I'm sitting back with a bunch of analysts, like I'm up what they call we have this area is like not like the bullpen, but it's kind of like a sky lounge area. And we're sitting back and they're like, we have close to 30 analysts per segment or sector, like trying to predict. We can predict, you know, have a predictability on how like to handle these type of crises from a banking standpoint. I said, but this motherfucker here, he's unpredictable, right? So
Very.
you can't, and I'm not like,
But he's winning though. He's making money.
he's winning. Of course, it's in his favor.
Like
And you
somebody
know what?
yeah.
We're swap meet as a country right now. Anything else. So I mean, that's just how it is. But the thing is, analysts said that they couldn't even predict. They said, we used to go back in the playbook, right? 10 years, 20 years ago. He go, we can't. There's so many factors of unpredictability that's happened. So they, even as analysts, they go on, we can't even predict how to have lookbacks and how to have this playbook again. It's like almost like playing baseball, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You got a whole new picture
You
and
have a
this thing.
strategy. You have to know your strategy, right?
Right.
One thing about winning is to know your opponent.
Gotcha. So you saying with him right now, it's kinda you can't can and there's no consistency
You
around
just
that
better
at
be on
all.
his side. You just better be on his side if you're on that side.
Hey, it sounds like everybody winning like that though. Everybody, everybody on his side is winning, right? So
Yeah, correct.
yeah, it's crazy. Crazy work, crazy work. Yeah, that's crazy work.
It's
So what if Richard had unlimited resources, what would you had a limited bank account and you could do whatever you want or create whatever you want or, you know, create, whatever it is. What would you do with the resources, unlimited resource?
help more people, right? I think that's like a big thing. And actually, give more towards our educational system. which I think has been hidden, until you actually go places like, here, go visit schools and stuff like that. And you actually, I give it to Texas, right? Texas gives, where they had the whole policy of changing high schools around and middle schools and gave that, what I'm saying? Here they don't have it. So actually seeing schools and you wonder why all these corporations, banks are here and that they're making so much money, but like none of the taxes are going back towards that. Like that's like now I want to go in and kind of like question those things. And actually I'm leaving here shortly and I'm meeting with, a bunch of key executives here in the city. I mean executives. I mean like CEOs like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Truist tonight, like the mayor and stuff like that, and other politicians tonight. And you know, those questions, I don't hold my tongue on,
About giving back or helping us to help,
or
when
questioning
they
why
ask, yeah.
why they are not doing.
Gotcha. That makes sense, so, that's just one thing, yeah. How so what do you think that they can help? I
Take from
guess
there.
younger people, or not even younger people, or people that's trying to find their way out of their own way, you know what I'm saying? Out of their environment or just a natural way. What are some things that you think that can help, like, on that situation, like more banks? So, like, the more the wealthier class, the more people that have, the more of the means that can help, and or the privilege, the more the privilege, you know. Well, how do you feel? Like, what do you feel that can really help in?
Like how to help them, like
Yeah,
how to
how to
help
help
like
them,
people,
like, yeah. They can
like
be
help
like
the wealth,
no, well, the more, I
like
guess,
help the wealthy, like give more to
help the p
help
other
others.
people, yeah, how like,
You
when you
just
say when
call
you
them out.
speak to banks, like,
You just call
them
them
to
out on their bullshit. You call them
yeah,
out personally, right?
but
So
then they
you
for
see 'em.
yeah, go ahead,
You
sorry.
I come from the streets. You call them out personally. You go to these places, everyone you get into like tonight, I'll get introduced, with key people, and I'll pull them to the side. I have a one-on-one conversation with them and say, look, you need to look into this. Like, I don't like this, and like this is just not how it is. I'm not a politician.
Yeah,
But hey, you're making about 30 million a year.
get an insight,
He
yeah.
owns half of downtown here, right? And uptown, and owns like all the properties, probably 60% of properties here worth
Yeah,
hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
yeah,
As a family estate, and like we all have something going on. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? You
yeah.
know?
Why
And
can't you help?
they know I speak with that. And they say, get Richard a couple glasses of wine. He just will sit there and just
You be on
say
your
some shit
you
that's
be on your
unorthodox. And I'm
you
like,
be
you don't
on
even
your
have to give me wine. Like, I'm gonna say some shit that like the room needs to be addressed, right?
sound like you be on your LeBron moment. You be having that LeBron moment.
Just like we're gonna talk this, right? And I'm like, listen, I don't because I come from nothing. So like my biggest passion is seeing like, you know, you guys helping people, right? And you guys actually building and the money's dispersed in the right areas and not just for over in my area where like there's, rich areas and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
but when I go to this side of town, like what are we doing? I don't need to go over here and feel like I gotta lock my cars because it's what used to be the area to be at. You know what I'm saying? And why are these kids going to schools over here that are like, 60 years, aged and like over here it's like a brand new school with new technology and new everything else. Like, come on, you can't do one for one side and not do for the other. You know what I mean? And that pisses me off, right? Because you put a curriculum score in place and like, yeah, we're gonna give money to them, but they have to get these grades up. That system is rigged.
Though they start drawing the lines, putting those lines in the
Yeah.
sand
It's
where
it's just
you
discrimination.
need to do this or you gotta do that,
Yeah,
but
that's
then you get a
discrimination all the way across the board through a systemic type of like behavior that has been synthesized towards people's lives and the poverty area of people not being able to be, in better position.
and they feel like
That's
yeah,
yeah,
and
has
they
to
already
stop.
got those blocks in front of them where you
Correct.
say, "Well, you need to be able to do that." Well,
Correct.
they can't even get out their own way out of over this first block, but if it was
Exactly.
somebody else that already had it, you would even put that in place for them. You would just be like, "Well, how about you just give me a
I went
call
to
or I'll talk to you or I'll talk to you when somebody you know, and then we can work it out instead of putting a stumbling blocks to somebody that's less fortunate." It's kinda
I was
yeah.
invited to a school yesterday. It was on the east side of Charlotte, and a lot of my friends and I were like donating stuff too. But like I met the principal, And I mean, all the teachers in their 70s, and stuff like that, like they've just been hired. They're not, and some of their positional roles. I'm like, okay, what do you do? And she's like, I have this one, in the 70s, and she was just like, I do advancement towards preparation of society, preparation for kids or some shit. I'm like, you don't really have a job, you just here, It's like, I'm like,
Yeah,
they just found you and picked you up, Like I get it, a lot of people like my kids not gonna go here because of them. Like this has to change, right? And because they don't have the funding, it's like, okay, we can't. It felt like I was walking inside like an old, like one of those movies, you know what I mean? It starts off in like a high school or middle school, type of setting, old 1980s setting.
yeah,
That's how it felt, and I was like, man, we cannot do this for one side and not do this for the other, you know.
gotcha.
So like tonight, I meet here, and like I'm gonna talk to him about that because you guys sit here and make over, 150 million, every quarter, close to $1 billion in a year. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would talk to him about I'll give you one of those things, I guess point you use it how you want to, you don't have to. But, just more of a direct to streamline assistance,
Correct. Yep.
like, you know how they do direct to client in retail and stuff like that, they got direct to clientele, direct to customer, and one of those things, but in business, it's more of, like, streamlining something that could get it simpler, simplistic, and get it to people faster, right, or get it that situation. Yeah, and I would just say figure out how to find a situation to help people
Yeah.
streamline it from direct business to direct help, not like one of those, "Imma donate it to these people and to these organizations and to them," and then these
Yeah.
people gotta go through all of the tape to get to the help, and
I
then you
go on
like,
Wall Street.
Hold on, look,
It's
Rich, it'll be like this, you
Yep.
just like, "Well, I help," but then the people was like, "Well, where do you get the help at?" Well, I can't even get
Exactly.
the help because now I gotta jump through all these other people tapes and, to even get the help now, and they basically just pocketing the funds to help them,
Correct.
just to say they're not helping.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, go ahead. Yeah,
No, that's it. I mean, I go on Wall Street. They'll raise $10 million in like 5 minutes.
yeah. But where did it go, right? Uh,
And then
I was, crazy.
it went from favors.
Yeah, exactly. Imma donate it to they're gonna donate it to an organization that helps other people, but it's funded that organization to pay its employee that's not helping for the for the purpose of the organization.
Correct.
It's like
Exactly.
basically you donating money to a purpose that's not happening. It's
Yeah.
kinda out of the way.
And that's how. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
it's a
crazy, man.
wicked world with this sometimes.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, we having a little fun, man. I'm enjoying this conversation. We are just wrapping it up here a little bit. So, with this being a power of people, want to ask you, what other people has been inspirational to you in your work, and how did they inspire you? Or like, yeah, who in the line of business that you been in, or just say somebody you work with,
Mhm.
which who has inspired you? You know?
My business partner, Tim Picari, being himself a true character, right? My dad has inspired me by, a lot of his work that he's done in preparation for me. My mother as well, true inspiration of hard work. My kids are great, inspiration to me as well, out of all the biggest things. So as far as business wise, I mean, I would probably say my business partner, like after 22 years, and he's a white guy, and Italian or whatever the case is, and like, he took me in to help me understand. Right? It wasn't never a race car, but like, he's a great teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah. But even now, like I teach him things, so that's when like you become more wise too, right?
yeah, you're not you one of the smartest people, but not also the smartest where you could teach each
Right.
other, inspire each other.
Yep.
Nah, man, that's great. Man, I will tell you this, man. You inspire me, man. You, my guy,
Okay.
inspired me years ago. Just being friends. Nah, it's just more of when I talk about it, it's just like you had little extra fire to me. Just saying you going out there and just pushing. and going out the thing just so, like, for back in the day, say when you went on a cigar run, not everybody out there know, but they don't know that you was the man,
Yeah,
one of the
never.
first to do it. That the only one like, almost close to all the only ones to do it.
And actually take a company public too, like, that's
Yeah,
the hell of it, you know what I mean? Like, that's
yeah.
it's a lot of nasty work.
Yeah, man. I mean, but
Yeah,
for ground up, man, to see somebody
correct.
a young person do it for ground up, man, and, the cigar business is a big business and a trendy thing, man, and you work with some big names. You you like, some of the big names you remember working with,
DJ Khaled, I mean, Michael Jordan, I mean, Derek Jeter, I mean, you name it. Even some I don't even wanna mention now.
so, yeah,
We know who never was there. The thing is, yeah,
wasn't yeah.
you've
You did use your brand almost like
yeah, I mean, it's just cross branding, right? So the relationship's always there. Just the amount of time, the circle of times you spend with him is always like, different too. So you keep it business. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, so when you work with those high profile people, what would be some advice you would give other people, like, if they was working with
Don't
other high profile, like, to go about that, as business wise, like, as a professional?
For me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm from good old East Texas. We don't kiss nobody's ass. So I don't give a damn if you work 100 million or $1 billion. Like I'm gonna talk to you the same goddamn way, right? Like that's just how it is. And like so, a lot of times, like I do that with CEOs the same way too, right? Until they realize like who I am and the experience I have, and they'll come to me, like I said, with these macho attitudes and stuff like that, right? I know you're about 350, so physically you can't, you fight on the street every day, right? So it ain't gonna be like that, but so if you gotta just verbally try to do it, then I'm gonna make you look and feel real stupid in the end with intelligence and actually like go back and forth with you one good time and then just kind of like make you realize like how experienced you are, that it almost you enough to make you realize like you ever get stuck. So that works the best notion and not fighting fire with fire all the time. Yeah.
Who was one of the, well, who would you say one of your favorite people that you had worked with throughout these years? Like, on a big name.
Well,
Besides
there's
Jordan take you out there to just
are you gonna
coffee,
say
some
Jordan? Like
cigars.
Jordan
I mean,
Jordan's
but
Jordan's cool.
I ain't a Jordan fan.
Love working with Michael Jordan. He's funny. He's himself. He's like, people thinks he's a douchebag, but like Jordan, if you know who Jordan is, like he's actually not a bad person. He talks a lot of shit,
Yeah.
but he's cool. I think Derek Jeter, is like one of my fan favorites. Like working with him. Yeah, yeah.
Your man crush, your boy crush, okay.
He's a
Your
he's a he's
boyhood
a
crush. Okay, that's your boyhood crush. That's what you
he,
said,
he
I hear
he
you.
loves to play blackjack like I do. If I ever like, you know.
Y'all used to know the date, that's what the
Look, look, look,
date.
look. I was a turn two one time, and I was out in Vegas at Shadow Creek Golf Club. We had sat out there all day long, right? And so I go inside, like there's security everywhere. He darts off, and he goes to the crap table. And I'm like, all right, where did you to go? And so security looks at me and didn't want to let me over, because I didn't walk in with him, right? Like
Yeah,
I walked in with him at the door, but he darted out to the left. And so I called him. I was like, "Look, dude, what's going on?" He's like, "Let him over here. Let him over here now." And we're going over playing blackjack and like, playing craps, whatever. It's just so cool. But just knowing the notion of like he does it to give back,
yeah,
and his foundation is really a big thing.
yeah, man, that's good, that's good, nah, so Jeter, your boyhood crush since the little days in Little League, yeah, you got to meet your man crush. I got you, I see what you say. Yeah, man, look at okay, I'll take that,
I give it to
hey,
him.
he'll go. Hey, he the Capitan, so
He's a
ain't
guy.
nothing wrong with that, he's the
We've been
Capitan.
around a lot of people, man. But a lot of times I like seeing more people work around, send other people around celebrities, that and stuff like that, and they work for you, and actually seeing them like light up when they
Yeah,
come around.
gotcha,
It's like that does something to you, you know.
gotcha.
Yeah.
You are you semi-celebrity. So you're a semi-celebrity, man.
I'll carry my
Hey,
little bit behind the scenes.
they don't need to know all that. You there. Hey, so give me something, anything else you would like to mention, you wanna drop for the people, any keys or, any jewels, gems that you
My
would like
thing
to
is
drop for the
don't give up. You know, my life is sometimes like it takes time to progress. Things may sometimes not seem like they're gonna always like be at your beck and call for you to receive certain things. It takes patience, it takes endurance, and sometimes it takes suffering. And if you know how to, go through those different patternistic behaviors, then the sun does shine again. So that's my biggest thing, and actually utilize your talents and skill set of exploring and being, who you need to be in order to get something done without being, manipulative or condescending or whatever the case is, right? Do things right. Understand timing is like the most impeccable thing, and just do it with good grace.
place? I like that. Like that.
Yep.
Tell the people, if they need to follow your journey, if they wanna follow your journey, tell them what you got going on or
I
any
mean,
social media, go ahead and, let them know,
well,
man.
I'm Davis Richard on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel as well, which is like Florida Stocks. I think it's Richard Davis, or just follow Florida Stocks, the channel. And we're gonna start like getting really involved with them like this upcoming week. We got a lot of things scheduled out. And it's just the rawness of like what people need to understand about Wall Street and like kind of giving back that information, like the real stuff, right? So
Right. Sorta
there's
like
a
this
lot.
podcast, right?
Yeah, the realness of it. So that needs to happen, right? And I can't take what I know to the grave. So it's like, why not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So give it
Yeah.
back.
And your media segment's coming up when they can
Yeah,
follow you on with
yeah.
on TV.
I,
Tell them about that.
yeah, I'll be on Yahoo's Finance. It's crazy 'cause I actually make the schedule for that, so I can be on probably sometime next month. I'll announce it, but it will be probably the next like couple weeks. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, you been all shy, man. Let the people know what check you out. Check you
yeah, I
out.
will. I definitely
Nah.
will. I need to follow up.
Yeah, because 'cause I'm, following and trying to keep up with you, bro. Uh, but I definitely, it's been a pleasure. I've been
Oh man,
enjoyed this conversation, man. Thanks
thank you.
for joining the, Power of the People show. We really enjoyed you, man, to taking your time out. I hope you have a great weekend. Can't wait to see you on the next go around when we get together, brother.
All
All
right, thanks,
right.
brother.
We out.
All right,
Hey,
all right,
have a
take
good
care.
one.
All right, you too. Bye bye.